Hi, welcome to Medical Tutor. Okay, my name is Bode and I'm going to be talking about the processes that you need to take to register for IJMB and JUPEB. But first, I'm going to tell you the differences between IJMB and JUPEB and why you need these exams. First, you have to understand that both IJMB and JUPEB are A-level exams. A-level exam means advanced level. That's beyond the scope of secondary schools. Secondary school results and exams are called O levels. So when you're talking about A levels, it means something much more higher and much more respectable, recognized all over the world. So now, talking about IJMB, let's pick that first so you can understand. Now, you see both IJMB and JUPEB, but mainly IJMB now. This program can help you gain direct admission into the university, any university in Nigeria, federal or state, starting from 200 level. So this is the difference between it and JAMB. When you write JAMB with your WAEC and NECO or whatever, you gain admission into 100 level. But when you use IJMB or JUPEB, you gain admission into 200 level directly. So you can see the difference. Now, another interesting factor you have to put in there is that when you take any of these A-level exams, one, you don't need to write JAMB. For example, let's assume you're using IJMB. You don't need the JAMB result. So which means you don't have to compete with over 1.2 million applicants to gain admission. And just so you know, when you're writing JAMB, you're writing JAMB alongside almost 1.2, 1.3 million people. I think this year, JAMB is currently recording almost 1 million applicants, if I'm not wrong, which means by the end of the registration, we are going to be having about 1.5 million registrants or applicants. And just so you know, in Nigeria, every year, every university totaling together barely admits maybe 300,000 or 200,000 students. I mean, all the universities in Nigeria. So technically speaking, the whole universities in Nigeria are admitting 200,000 out of 1.5 million. So the remaining 1.3 million students are going on with no admission. So imagine you're trying to compete with millions of other students. So I believe you know the difficulty of JAM. But when you're talking about A-level exams are fairly easier than JAMB. Why are they easier? In JAMB you compete with millions, but in IJMB or JUPEB you compete with just 20,000 people. I think the latest figure is around 20,000 to 50,000 applicants. And that's why most of the times when people go for A-level exams like IJMB and JUPEB, they always have the guarantee at least 70 to 80% of entering the university. So if 100 people goes for IJMB and 100 people goes for JAMB, it's very likely that only one person that out of the 100 that went for JAMB will get admitted, whereas almost 99 out of the 100 that went for IJMB and JUPEB will get admitted. So you can see the differences there. JAMB has high fail rates, IJMB, JUPEB have high success rates. So you can make your choice from those differences. So I believe you understand why IJMB and JUPEB is very important and why thousands of students are rushing to get their form. So a lot of students are rushing to get their form right now. So and I did my IJMB about that was 2016, so let's say 7 years ago. I did my IJMB. I also did JUPEB. Back then I was trying to chase for the admission of medicine into uni so I did IJMB and JUPEB, and currently I'm in the university. I'm studying medicine. I'm in 400 level at the moment that I recorded this video, that is. So, and there are a lot of other students all over the country. Constance, one of our favorite students, because there was a time when I finished my JAMB at JUPEB, I became a teacher for other students coming up. So I had a lot of students under me as well that I taught them there in the university. So Constance and so many on and so forth. So right now I'm not a student. What I do is I pass information to other students that are looking for admission and they're tired of staying at home and they want to pass through the same process and get it all done. You understand? So instead of competing with millions, just sit down in a place after 9 months and you do your exam and you're in university. It's 200 level directly. You don't even have to start from 100 level. So like I said, we have thousands of graduates and thousands of undergraduates that have gone through IJMB and JUPEB. So now, why is IJMB and JUPEB accepted? The reason is because IJMB on its own, which means Interim Joint Matriculation Board exam, is a program that was created by Abu Zaria University. I believe you know Abu Zaria University. It was created by Abu Zaria University and currently it is accepted by almost all federal and state universities in Nigeria. Talk about Uni Abuja. I believe you know Uni is one of the most popular schools. Talk about FUOYE. Talk about Unilag. Talk about OU. Olabisi Onabanjo University, where I school. Talk about Olabisi Obafemi Awolowo University, and so on and so forth. You can check this schools portals and check the admission processes and requirements. Once you scroll beyond the JAMB requirements, you're going to see A-level requirements and you see IJMB there. You understand? The same thing with JUPEB. JUPEB was created by Unilag, University of Lagos. I told you IJMB was created by Buzaria University, but JUPEB was created by University of Lagos itself. And you know how influential University of Lagos is. So technically, almost all universities accept JUPEB as well. Do you understand? So that's why, and they are all registered into the educational system of Nigeria. Except from that, you can take your certificate anywhere outside of Nigeria, and you are going to be respected even more than you holding NECO or whatever, or holding JAMB. JAMB is only limited to Nigeria, but you see these programs, you can take it anywhere. And I think the last difference I will tell you between A-level programs like IJB and JUPEB and JAMB is that, one, when you write JAMB, you have to keep writing it every year. But funny enough, you don't have to keep writing IJMB and JUPEB every year. Once you write JUPEB once or IJMB once, it is forever. So you can use your result anytime. If you like write IJMB now, get your result next year or this year, and decide not to enter university for the next 10 years. When you're ready, pick up your certificate and register, or call it DE form, direct entry form, and you're going to be in the university. So you don't have to keep rewriting or rewriting and rewriting. Another interesting part of it is that, aside from the fact that admission is very difficult with JAMB students tend to fail JAMB a lot. So a lot of times, maybe your first time writing JAMB or something, you're going to be seeing scores like 160, 180. In Nigerian universities now, unless you have a lot of connections or something, it's very difficult for you to get admitted. Even with connections, I think it's still very difficult to get admitted with 180 or even 200. So, and that poses difficulty for a lot of students. I remember there was time I had 298, I think 295 in my JAMB score, my third JAMB, before I think that was several years ago, before I gained admission. And I applied to the University of Abuja, 295 in JAMB for medicine. They gave me no course. I wasn't even given elect or Greek, or I was given nothing. I wasn't even given drama, or I don't know, maybe is it art or department or something. I wasn't given anything, not even carpentry. So that's to show you the difficulty that is associated with writing JAMB and JAMB. So even if you have high score, so even if you write JAMB and you have high score like 300, I have a friend that time, I forgot his name, Williams. He had 300 in JAMB, applied for medicine, University of Ilorin. He was given no admission, nothing at all. So there are a lot of students like that. You can ask people, Unibadan, go meet Unibadan applicants. They will tell you people with 320, 300, they still don't have their admission. So if you do your best to score high in JAMB, there's still like a possibility you can get an admission. And if you don't do your best, or maybe there's some issues or something, and you get low in JAMB, then the chances of even getting an admission is much more difficult. But that's not the same thing with A-level programs like IJMB and JUPEB. Technically speaking, almost 70 to 80% of all students or applicants that go for IJB and JUPEB always gain admission, no matter how little or no matter how big the course is. So if you want, there are students we have all over the country, Ilorin, Abuja, OU, and so on and so forth. They will always gain admission no matter what. So IJMB and JUPEB, they allow for much flexibility. And in the first place, because it's called advanced level, it is always taken with much importance than JAMB, because no matter how JAMB is still an O-level exam, not an advanced level exam. Now you might be wondering that it is advanced level exam. Does it mean that it is harder than JAMB or something? Well, technically speaking, what you're going to be doing in your A-level program is the same thing as what you have done in your secondary school before. But this time around, let's assume you're a science student right now. I believe you should know about Newton's law, right? So you should know about Newton's first law, second law, third law, and blah blah. You should know about force equals ma. You should know about the laws of conservation of mass and etc. Now, those are the things that you'll be taught in O level, how to define them, what the formulas are. But when you're in A level will teach you why the formula is that way. So we say for F equals ma, force equals mass times acceleration. Why? And when you don't understand the reason why something is this way or that way, it's very easy for you to forget and it's very easy for you to fail. It's as simple as that. So, but what IJB does is that IJB explains those things so that you don't need to cram the formula, you don't need to cram definitions. By the time you get to an exam, to your examiner, and they ask you a question, because you understand why and where the formula is coming from, it is very easy for you to answer and even remember the formula straight away. I remember when I was writing my exam back then, because I've done my IJMB and I was trying to write JAMB as well, trying to put all my eggs in two different baskets. So I tried to write JAMB 2, and when I got to the exam hall, I saw a lot of questions with requiring different formulas. And with my knowledge of IJMB, because I know where these formulas were coming from, I didn't have to cram them. As I saw the question, immediately I already know what formula I'm going to be using. I know the theory behind the formula, and I know how the, how the formula is. Do you understand? So what A level does is that it simplifies everything they've taught you in secondary school. In secondary school, you cram, you don't understand. But in A level, they were explaining it to you, and you begin to understand all those things. And the interesting part of it is that you've done everything in secondary school, but A level just wants to take you a little step further to make you know why this is that. So you can see it helps you better. No matter, I used to tell my colleagues back then and some of my students, no matter how dumb you are, once you come for A level, you're going to be very intelligent, because you don't need to read all day long. You don't need to read 12 hours a day like some people say they do. But at least even an hour reading a day saves you a lot, and you're going to see the impact and the difference. So by the time you join with other students, almost 1,000 students on campus, and you see everyone all together studying, there are study groups, there are labs, there are a lot of places you can move around to boost your learning. You're going to see how interesting it is than going through with JAMB, and it's going to save your time. So now, and the last interesting fact I will let you to know before I delve into IJMB and JUPEB properly is, you once you start your program, your IGM program or JUPEB program, you spend a total of 9 months, nothing more, nothing less. A total of 9 months. After the 9 months, you gain admission directly to 200 level, which means you don't have to start from 100 level. People who write jam start from 100 level. So let's assume you lost your admission last year, probably because your jam score was low, and then you decide to do IJMB this year. Or maybe let's say you lost your admission this year and you decide to do IJMB this year. Or but all your friends that gain admission to the university with JAMB this year are going to be in 200 level next year, right? Now, but if you two you take IJMB or JUPEM this year, by next year you're also going to be in 200 level, which means although they entered university before you and started 100 level, by the time you are done with your program this year, you're going to be in 200 level next year with them. So you see, there's no time wasted. So instead of you sitting at home and waiting to write another JAMB, if you write another jam this year, you're going to be in 100 level next year. It doesn't take you to 200 level. Maybe by the end of the year, you'll be in 100 level. It doesn't take you to the next level. But instead, if you take IJMB or JUPEB, you're going to be in 200 level by the end of the year or early next year. So you see the difference is there. No matter how, there's no gap. They can't give you a gap. Your friends can't give you a gap, even if they entered university before you. So IJMB saves you a lot of time, saves you all the sitting at home and blah blah blah. And by the time you get to 200 level, you are way ahead of your friends and much more intelligent than them. That's just the reality. Okay, so here in medical school, I have some of my friends that entered with D from JUPEB and IJMB, and those guys are really smart. Sincere. So that's just how it is. So who is IJMB and JUPEB for? Like I said from the beginning, it's for everyone. Whether you are unintelligent, you feel like it's very difficult for you to read and understand, whether you feel like you are too dumb or something. I used to feel like that before, but there's nobody too dumb. That's just the reality. But whether you feel like you are not assimilating, you don't know how to read, when you read, you don't remember or you forget or something, all those things, IJMB and JUPEB will help you sort it out. So now, which one should you pick between IJMB and JUPEB? First off, I told you IJMB means Interim Joint Matriculation Board exam, and JUPEB means Joint Junior Preliminary Examination Board. So is there any difference between them? Well, really, let me tell you, there's no difference, except from two situations that we can compare and contrast. The first little difference between them is the cost. IJMB costs around 220,000 naira, whereas JUPEB costs currently around 320,000 naira. Now, like I told you, IJMB programs or A-level programs generally take a period of 9 months once you register. So if you register for IJMB now, 9 months, JUPEB the same thing, 9 months. And IJMB costs 220, whereas JUPEB costs 320,000 naira. They both offer the same thing, even though they were created and accredited by different universities, but they both offer the same thing into different universities in Nigeria, into the same universities in Nigeria rather. So it now depends on your own choice, whether you feel like you have much more money and you want to go for JUPEB and you're okay with that, good. If you want IJMB, probably you're on budget like me when I started, so I went for IJMB. And the interesting part of both IJMB and JUPEB is that you can pay in installments. Most of the accredited centers out there like ours, we allow students to pay in installments, which means by the time you first resume, you're allowed to pay just maybe 30 to 40% of your school fees. and you're going to join the lecture. You have an hostel that has been provided, I mean accommodation, so you don't need to go and rent your hostel yourself. What you need to bring to the hostel is your cooking utensils, your dressing clothes, and your, in fact, the notebooks and textbooks are provided in the school. There is a lab, there everything you expect in a standard university. So there's technically no difference between IJB and JUPEB except from the cost and to the timeline as well. For example, JUPEB starts early February. We are in February already. Whereas, sorry, IJMB rather. IJMB starts early February, around February. Sometimes it starts December, but anything December, January, February, it's IJMB time. Whereas JUPEB starts later in the year, something like maybe September or something. So if you want to gain early admission, maybe you want to gain admission this year, then you have to register for IJMB. But maybe you want to wait till next year, then you can register maybe later in July or April for JUPEB. So JUPEB is always late towards the later half of the year, whereas IJMB is always at the earlier side of the year. So which means IJMB takes you into university faster and it is cheaper. So it depends on the one you want. If you can make up or meet up with IJMB, you can just join JUPEB. If you feel like JUPEB is too far for you, like I felt too back then, I chose IJMB and it worked well. So it's all about knowing which one works for you. So like I said, IJMB is 220, JUPEB is 320,000 naira, and both allows for payment in installments. So let's assume you want to resume tomorrow. Like I said, you just need to get your kitchen utensils, your clothes, and other things I think you need. For ladies, I believe you need a lot of intrinsic stuffs, your pads and blah blah. For the guys, your kits like shoes, sneakers, and anything you want. Just make sure you are coming with all the necessary equipment and materials so that you can avoid borrowing from other students on campus and others, since you have an hostel where you're going to be living with them. So that's the major thing. Now, let me talk about our own branch or our own accredited center. In our own accredited center, we have all the necessities that you will see in a standard university. We have our classrooms, expansible, we have our hostels, and the hostels, we have standard beds, bunks, normal beds, and for you can decide to choose what type of room you want. Some rooms are 4 people in a room, some are two, some are one, depending on, you can pay extra fee. Normally, the hostel fee is already included in your school fees, but if you want a room to yourself, that means you have to pay some extra fee, which is absolutely discounted for students. So it's just a little fee. And of course, you can decide to live off the campus, but we always advise students stay together for security reasons. You can see what is going on in Nigeria. So students, and two, you better study with your friends than when you are alone. If you stay alone, you just keep sleeping on your bed, and when you're supposed to be studying, you are probably feeling some fatigue or something. But with your friends around, there's that vibe to it. I believe you understand what I'm trying to say. So there's that vibe to it. Now that was the major thing. So there's accommodation for you. There are textbooks already provided, standard textbooks, Frankneters derived, and personally written textbooks by our center. And so far, the name of our center is Audac. I believe I didn't mention the other time, and we've been operating for as long as 15 years or even more now. So that's a decade plus, and we've had nothing less than 20,000 or 20 something thousand students. So which means you're not the first, you're not the second, you're not the third, you're not even the 10th batch. So we have a lot, and we have the experiences. Our lecturers are all graduates with BSc, all graduates with BSc, not HND or ND, all graduates. So, and like I said the other time, I'm also a product of Audac about 7 years ago, and currently I'm a medical student in Olabisi Banjo. Although there were some delays, but right now I'm in 400 level preparing for my professional exam. So there's all you need and all confidence and all assurance you need. There is success in it better than JAMB. There is affordability in it better than JAMB. There is time saving in it better than JAMB. And there's everything else. So all you just need to do is to either go head onto our website and register, or you can also contact me. My number is 08165982216. You can contact me. I'll take you through the process. Then our centers, like I told you, our centers are not just in one state. We have centers in Lagos, Ikorodu. We have in Ogun State as well. We have in Ondo State, Ondo Town in Ondo State. But our headquarters is in Kwara State, Ilorin, beside University of Ilorin and opposite College of Education. So that's our headquarters, beside Ilorin and opposite College of Education in Kwara State. So we always recommend that all our students go to the headquarters unless absolutely necessary, that you have to go to Lagos or that. The reason is because at the headquarters you have access to all the facilities I mean modern world facilities to use. Not just that, all the lecturers there are degree holders, some are even masters and with a lot of experience, and you're going to see all the things you need. You're also going to be mingling with thousands of students. So we always prefer that our students go to the HQ, and that makes the success easier. So concerning admission into the university, once it's time for you to apply for direct entry form, the our center is going to help you with that and help you to fill the right universities, advise you on the best university to choose for higher or 100% chance of admission. And those kind of things are the things we are going to do for you. So our center makes it very easy for you to gain your admission, and it's not something you're going to regret. So if you feel like you want to register for IJMB or JUPEB right now, just message me. I will leave my number in the comment section. Just get back to me and we're going to get started. And lest I forget, the form fee before you pay your school fees, the form fee is 10,000 naira. You can get the form on our website, or you can go to the center and pay personally. And we don't require that students pay to any staff. This is to avoid any situation of fraud or something. We prefer you go to the center and see everything yourself, then decide to pay. You can come with your guardian, or you can come with anyone that is old enough to come with you. And if you are old enough, you can also come and check things around before making your payments and resuming for the session. So if you are going to be registering for IJMB this year, I advise you resume as early as possible so you can catch up with the lectures and start with others. And by next year, you're in the university 200 level. You're also an undergraduate. And if it is JUPEB you want, also awesome. So whichever one it is, let me know your thoughts, and you can send me a message, get my WhatsApp number in the comment section, or call me with my call line. And that is all. Thank you for watching.